Hi, this is Jim with ProfitTrading.com. If you come to the website, you can get free email newsletters. So you can get a stock, futures, or forex newsletter. So there's a lot of great trading information at ProfitTrading.com. Please come by and pay a visit. And we're going to look at some markets here. We'll start out with the S&P. The S&P is in an uptrend on the 10-10 bands, and I think the S&P is going to continue higher. This has kind of been last week was kind of a consolidation week, but the bands are pointing towards higher prices. The stochastic shows the momentum's up, and I think odds are with higher prices for the S&P. Bonds. Okay, let me get that going. Bonds made a double top on a bearish 14-day stochastics momentum divergence, and bonds have broke lower, and the bands show bonds are in a downtrend. If I can get that to come up here, it's be kind of slow. Sorry about that. Okay, bonds double top, broke lower. Bands show the momentum is down, so I think bonds are going to continue lower. The dollar's pretty much the same picture. I think the dollar is put in a double top, and I think the high is in for the dollar. And the bands show the trend is down. Okay, the bands show the trend is down. Right now, the dollar last week kind of made a counter trend rally, and I think this is going to be resistance. This upper band is going to be resistance. The dollar will break lower from here. Now, if the dollar were to trade up here and get above the bands, then it might turn bullish. But right now, I think the dollar is still going to continue lower. And one reason I think the dollar is going to continue lower is because usually when the commodities are trading higher, the dollar goes lower, and it looks like commodities are going to pretty much be trading higher now. Again, I could be totally wrong on that, and that's why we keep an eye on the markets every day. But right now, cocoa's in an uptrend, and I think cocoa's going to continue higher. The bands are pointing higher, and it's above the bands. So I think cocoa's going to continue higher. And coffee has been in an uptrend, and then the last couple weeks or so has made a counter trend correction. So I think that correction is about over, and I think coffee's going to trade higher. So here's September coffee, bull swing, counter trend correction, and I think that correction's about over with. Stochastics is oversold, and I just think that there's a good chance coffee will trade higher from here. So like I said, I think the commodities are going to be trading higher soon, and if that changes, we'll take another look at it. I try to do these videos every day, but some days there isn't a lot different in the market, so it really doesn't make any sense to do them every day unless something has drastically changed. So I try to do them whenever something really changes. Sugar, bull swing, counter trend correction. I think it's at a low. I think sugar's going to head higher. Last week, here lately, the markets have been a little choppy, a little kind of consolidating, a little sideways, and there just hasn't been any really big moves, but I think that's about to change. I think gold and silver are going to break higher, and I think normally when gold and silver are moving, that leads to other commodities higher. And then if gold and silver do move higher, as I'm looking for them to, that would be bearish for the dollar, and the dollar would probably trade lower. Normally gold and silver and the dollar trade opposite each other. That doesn't happen all the time. Now crude oil here is in an uptrend above the bands, came down and tested lower bands, made a double bottom, and looks to be in an uptrend. Again, last week was kind of a consolidation week mostly, and I think our crude is going to continue higher from here. Okay, gold looks like it's made a triangle pattern, and it looks like it's broken out of the triangle, came down and tested the triangle. When these markets are consolidating like this, like gold is now, it can take a long time. Like if you've been following gold, you'll know it just seems like it's gone sideways forever. But you don't want to fall asleep on this thing, because that's when it'll break out and take off. I mean, these consolidations can take a long time, but I think this consolidation is going to lead to a big up move in gold. Okay, here we go. This is the daily chart of gold. Basically, I think this, if you draw a triangle right here, this was the breakout of the triangle. Then it came back down and tested the triangle breakout. And now it's heading higher. And if we get a break above this resistance area, basically if we get a strong close above 1650, I think this thing would take off. So you know, again, we just got to sit back and see what happens. But I think gold's going to make a strong bar up in the not too near distant future, and it will probably head higher. Probably next week sometimes, but again, like I say, with these consolidations, there's no telling. They can go sideways for a long time when they're consolidating, but then once the consolidation's over, they tend to really move fast. So that's what I'm looking for gold. Okay, lean hogs next. Basically, I think lean hogs is probably at a low. It's extremely oversold. And sometimes these markets went, like this is a downtrend for sure in lean hogs. And this market could just keep trending lower. But right now my gut feeling is that this is just going to be a low in lean hogs in this area. And it's going to make a consolidation here and move higher. So that's what I think is going to happen in lean hogs. But I really don't have a buy signal for it yet or anything. So I wouldn't be, I'll just be staying out of lean hogs right now in the premium newsletter. But it's in a downtrend, but I think it's coming into a low. Live cattle here. Again, if lean hogs is coming into a low, which it could be, live cattle could continue higher here. Live cattle's in an uptrend, and live cattle is kind of an iffy chart too. It is in an uptrend, but there is nothing saying that it couldn't just turn over right here and break lower, and then we'd get a sell signal. So right now the trend is up, and odds are with higher prices in live cattle. But the meats are probably the market I'm the most unsure of. I could, you know, either they could just continue to break lower, or they could break higher. So we're just gonna have to watch that. But right now odds are with higher prices. Most other markets look pretty clear though. I think most other commentary is going to be pretty accurate, but we'll see. Again, you never know. Corn, strong uptrend. What we're doing in the premium newsletters, we're waiting for a pullback. Corn just may keep going higher. It may not have a pullback for a while, but eventually there is going to be a pullback. And when this stochastics goes to oversold, that's when I'm going to be looking to get back into corn, even if it trades higher from here. Basically the grains are in a strong bull market, and we caught almost this whole move here, so I'm not going to be in a real big hurry to get back in. We took profits because we had such a big profit in it. I just didn't want to, you know, take a chance to loosen that. And so we got out when it started kind of consolidating sideways, and I knew it could just continue higher from here, but we'll just see what happens. We'll get in. Now this actually could be a buy signal here in beans, but again, I'm going to just kind of sit out right now. Well, actually I do have a trade in for bean oil, which is the grain complex. So I do have a trade out for bean oil. Matter of fact, let's look at that right now. So okay, there's beans. Look at bean oil real quick. And then we'll look at wheat and oats on another video. They're pretty much, wheat and oats are pretty much in the same situation as corn and beans. They're in a strong uptrend, and they're kind of moving sideways now, and they probably will trade higher, but I'm waiting for a pullback to get long. Now bean oil is the one that did make kind of a solid correction, a counter trend correction. That's why I put out a trade to go long in this weekend's premium newsletter. If you want to sign up for the premium newsletter, you can get the exact entry signal and stop for that. But bean oil made a bull swing, and then this is like a counter trend correction with a double bottom. So I think bean oil is going to head higher, and we have a buy signal out for that in the premium newsletter. And those buy signals are really important, because if it doesn't hit the entry point, it's not a good trade. Like, just because this is the setup, and if we don't get triggered into the trade's no good. So that's why the entry point is so important. You don't just Just me saying that we have a buy signal in the premium newsletter isn't good enough to go long. So I'd get that premium newsletter. It's only $99 a year right now through August. It's a big sale. And thanks for listening to my video. I'm going to wrap this one up, and I appreciate you listening.